My brother used my house for his wedding, then showed up with a moving truck. I had my lawyer waiting in the driveway. Hey friends. Got a sec? Drop your thoughts in the comments and hit subscribe. It's quick for you, but it really means a lot to us. Alright, let's dive into today's story. Original post. I never thought I'd be writing something like this, but I need perspective from people who aren't emotionally invested in my family dynamics. This situation has been building for months, and I'm at a complete loss. I'm James, 28M, and I've worked incredibly hard to get where I am today. After graduating with a degree in software engineering, I landed a job at a tech startup that went public. Through careful investing and living well below my means for years, I managed to buy a house in Northern California last year, a beautiful 4-bedroom property with extensive grounds and a pool. It's my pride and joy, the result of 70-hour work weeks and sacrificing my social life throughout my 20s. My younger brother Michael, 25M, has always taken a different path. He dropped out of college twice, has bounced between minimum wage jobs, and generally relies on our parents' financial support. Despite this, he's always been the family favorite, charming, outgoing, and somehow able to convince everyone that his next scheme will be the big one. Our parents, Robert and Patricia, have always made excuses for him while holding me to impossibly high standards. 6 months ago, Michael announced his engagement to Jennifer, a woman he'd been dating for 8 months. The family was thrilled, though I had reservations about the rushed timeline. During the engagement dinner at our parents' house, the conversation inevitably turned to wedding venues. James has that gorgeous house, my mother said, turning to me with that look I knew too well. It would be perfect for an outdoor ceremony. I nearly choked on my wine. Mom, my house isn't a wedding venue. But family helps family, my father interjected. You have all that space going to waste. Michael jumped in immediately. It would mean everything to us, James. You know we can't afford those ridiculous venue prices. Jennifer has always dreamed of a garden wedding. Jennifer nodded enthusiastically, her eyes already calculating. We've looked at venues, and they're asking $15,000 just for the space. Your backyard is even nicer than most of them. I wanted to refuse immediately, but 27 years of family conditioning kicked in. Every family gathering since my house purchase had included subtle and not-so-subtle comments about how selfish it was for a single man to have such a large home. How I should be more generous with my success. How Michael never had the same opportunities one did. I need to think about it, I said, hoping to buy time. The pressure campaign began immediately. Daily calls from my mother about how this would bring the family together. Texts from Michael about how I was his only hope for giving Jennifer her dream wedding. Even extended family members started reaching out, having heard about my reluctance to help. After 3 weeks of this, I cracked. Fine, I told Michael during yet another guilt trip phone call. You can use the backyard for the ceremony. But there are conditions. Anything, brother. You're the best. I laid out my terms. They would be responsible for all setup and cleanup. Any damage would be paid for immediately. The house interior would be off-limits except for 2 bathrooms. The reception would end by 10 p.m. due to neighborhood noise ordinances. Maximum 75 guests. Michael agreed to everything without hesitation, which should have been my first red flag. The wedding planning kicked into overdrive. Jennifer started showing up at my house uninvited to visualize the space. She'd walk around with her phone, taking videos and making notes. When I worked from home, she'd arrive with fabric samples and flower arrangements, asking my opinion on decorations I didn't care about. Don't you think we should trim these hedges differently? She asked one day, standing in my backyard with a critical expression. The hedges are fine, I replied firmly. But for the photos, the hedges stay as they are. She pouted but moved on to suggesting we repaint the gazebo. Then resurface the pool deck. Then install better outdoor lighting. Each suggestion was met with a firm no, and each no was met with a phone call from my mother about how I was ruining Jennifer's special day. 2 months before the wedding, things escalated. I came home from a business trip to find Michael and Jennifer in my backyard with what appeared to be a wedding planner and a contractor. What's going on? I demanded. Michael approached me with his trademark sheepish grin. Just getting some estimates, bro, don't worry, we'll cover it. Estimates for what? Minor improvements. The contractor says we could add a temporary dance floor over the pool for just. Absolutely not. Get out. All of you. The contractor and wedding planner left quickly, but Michael and Jennifer lingered. You're being unreasonable, Jennifer said. We're trying to make this perfect. Perfect for you. It's already perfect for me because it's my house. Don't bring any more people here without my permission. That night, My mother called in tears. How could I humiliate Michael in front of wedding professionals? Didn't I understand how stressed they were? Why was I being so difficult when they were just trying to plan one special day? I held firm, but the guilt was overwhelming. My therapist, whom I'd started seeing years ago to deal with family issues, reminded me that boundaries were healthy and necessary. Still, knowing that intellectually and feeling it emotionally were two different things. The wedding was now 6 weeks away, and the guest list had somehow ballooned to 150 people. When I confronted Michael, he claimed it was a miscommunication. "We can't uninvite family," he pleaded. "Jennifer's cousin already bought plane tickets from Florida." "That's not my problem. We agreed on 75. James, please. Just this once. Just this once." The family motto when it came to Michael's requests. Against my better judgment, I agreed to 100 guests, maximum. I also required a liability insurance policy for the event and a signed contract outlining all our agreements. Michael seemed insulted but complied. 3 weeks before the wedding, I overheard something that changed everything. I was at our parents' house for Sunday dinner, arriving early to help my mother with cooking. Michael and Jennifer were in the living room, not realizing I was in the kitchen. "After the honeymoon, we'll already be settled in," Jennifer was saying. "It'll be perfect timing." "You sure James won't freak out?" Michael asked. "Your parents will handle him. Besides, it's just temporary. 6 months, maybe a year, until we save enough for our own place. The master bedroom is incredible. I can't wait to redecorate it." My blood ran cold. I stepped into the living room. "What are you talking about?" They both froze. Michael recovered first, laughing nervously. "Hey bro, we were just planning to move into my house." Jennifer tried to salvage the situation. "Michael mentioned you have all that extra space, and we thought." "You thought wrong." My mother chose that moment to enter from the garage. "What's all the shouting?" "Michael and Jennifer seem to think they're moving into my house after the wedding," I said flatly. My mother's face lit up. "Oh, what a wonderful idea. You have 4 bedrooms, James, and you're just one person." The argument that followed was explosive. My parents insisted I was being selfish. Michael claimed I'd previously offered, a complete lie. Jennifer cried about how they couldn't afford rent anywhere decent. I stood my ground, stating clearly that there was no circumstance under which they'd be living in my house. "Then maybe we should reconsider the venue," I added. The room went silent. "You wouldn't," my mother gasped. "Try me." The next 2 weeks were a Cold War. Minimal communication, passive-aggressive text messages, and several flying monkeys in the form of aunts and uncles calling to express their disappointment in my lack of family values. Then, 5 days ago, everything imploded. My neighbor, Nancy, stopped me as I was getting my mail. "James, I'm so excited about the changes you're making to the house," she said brightly. "What changes?" "Michael mentioned you're converting the basement into an apartment for them. He asked if we knew any good contractors." I saw red. I immediately called Michael and demanded an explanation. "I was just gathering information," he said defensively. "For the future." "What future? You're not moving in. Jennifer's pregnant." The words hung in the air. I processed this manipulation tactic with the calm that comes before a storm. "Congratulations. You're still not moving in. How can you be so heartless? Your nephew or niece will need a stable home. Then you better figure that out as their father." I hung up and immediately called my lawyer. Within 48 hours, I had a formal letter drafted stating that Michael and Jennifer were not tenants, had no claim to residency, and would be trespassing if they attempted to stay past the wedding reception end time. I also installed security cameras around the property and changed my locks. The family explosion was nuclear. My phone buzzed constantly with messages ranging from disappointment to outright rage. My father showed up at my house uninvited, demanding I stop this nonsense and support your brother's growing family. "I am supporting them by letting them use my property for free for their wedding," I responded. "That's thousands of dollars in venue costs I'm saving them." "That's not enough. Family means sacrifice. I've sacrificed enough. Michael's an adult. He needs to provide for his own family." My father left, slamming the door so hard it rattled the windows. So here I am, 1 week before this wedding, wondering if I should cancel the whole thing. I've given them an inch, and they're trying to take not just a mile but my entire life. My therapist says I'm doing the right thing, but the guilt is crushing. Half my extended family isn't speaking to me. My parents are treating me like I've committed a crime. Am I the asshole for not wanting my brother and his pregnant wife to move into my house? Should I just cancel the wedding venue offer altogether? I need outside perspective because I'm drowning in family manipulation and can't see clearly anymore. Update 1, posted 3 days before the wedding. The response to my original post was overwhelming and eye-opening. Thank you to everyone who confirmed I wasn't losing my mind. Your comments gave me the strength to do what I should have done months ago. 2 days after my post, I made a decision. I called Michael and gave him an ultimatum. Show me the liability insurance policy, the signed contract agreeing to all terms, and a written statement that he and Jennifer would not attempt to move into my house, or the wedding was off my property. He exploded. It's in 3 days. Everything is arranged. Then you better get those documents quickly. What followed was 24 hours of the most intense family manipulation I've ever experienced. My mother showed up at my workplace, something she's never done in my 8 years with the company. She caused such a scene that security had to escort her out. She was crying, wailing about how I was destroying the family. My boss, thankfully, was understanding. Family drama, he asked after she left. You have no idea. That evening, my father and uncle arrived at my house together. They tried the good cop, bad cop routine. My uncle played the understanding mediator while my father threatened to cut me out of the will. I laughed at that one. What will? The house that's mortgaged to help pay for Michael's failed business ventures? The retirement savings you cashed out for his car? Go ahead, cut me out of nothing. They left when I threatened to call the police. The next morning, yesterday, Michael finally sent the insurance policy. It was for $1 million in liability coverage. Good. The contract, however, had been altered. Where it originally said, reception ends at 10 p.m., it now said, reception ends at a reasonable hour. Where it said, maximum 100 guests, it now said, approximately 100 guests. I called him immediately. Nice try. Send the original contract, unaltered, signed, or find another venue. You're being a fucking dictator, he screamed. I'm being a property owner protecting my assets. 2 hours later, Jennifer called. Her approach was different. Tears and emotional manipulation. James, I'm pregnant and stressed. This is supposed to be the happiest time of my life, and you're ruining it. I've already told my entire family about the venue. My grandmother is flying in from Ohio. She's 82 and this might be her last family event. How can you do this to us? I'm not doing anything to you. I offered my property under specific conditions. You and Michael are the ones trying to manipulate the situation. Send the correct documents or make other arrangements. She hung up on me. Last night at 11 p.m., Michael finally sent the correctly signed contract and the written statement about not moving in. But here's the kicker. He also sent a group text to the entire extended family. Despite James's threats and ultimatums, Jennifer and I have agreed to his unreasonable demands because we have no choice 3 days before our wedding. We're heartbroken that money and property mean more to him than family, but we'll sign whatever he wants so our grandmothers can see us get married. The responses were swift and brutal. Cousins calling me heartless. Aunts saying they were disappointed in who I'd become. One uncle suggested I needed therapy for my control issues. I responded with my own group text. I'm providing my home for free for your wedding, saving you approximately $15,000 in venue costs. I'm also assuming all liability for 100 guests on my property. The only thing I've asked for is basic respect for my property and clear boundaries about living arrangements. If that makes me the villain, so be it. Half the family sided with me after that, creating a rift that will probably last years. But I don't care anymore. The wedding is in 3 days, and I've hired security, 2 off-duty police officers who will be checking names at the gate and ensuring everyone leaves by 10 p.m. I've also installed temporary cameras covering every inch of the outdoor area. My best friend David and his wife Sarah will be staying with me during the wedding to act as witnesses and support. They've been incredible through this whole ordeal, reminding me that chosen family is just as valuable as blood family. I'll update again after the wedding. Assuming my house is still standing. Update 2, posted day after the wedding. The wedding is over. My house survived. My relationship with my family might not have. The day started at 7 a.m. with vendors arriving. I was prepared with a detailed list of what was and wasn't allowed. My friend David acted as point person while I worked from my home office, trying to maintain some normalcy. At 9 a.m., Jennifer's wedding planner tried to get into my house, claiming she needed to set up a bridal suite in my master bedroom. David turned her away. She called Jennifer, who called Michael, who called my mother, who called me. Just let them use one room to get ready, my mother pleaded. They have a hotel room for that. But I hung up. At noon, I noticed vendors setting up chairs, far more than 100. I counted 150 chairs being arranged. I immediately confronted the setup crew, who showed me an order for 150 chairs signed by Michael. I made them remove 50 chairs while they complained about the extra work. I didn't care. Michael arrived at 2 p.m. with his groomsmen. He tried to laugh off the chair situation. Come on, bro, it's just a few extra chairs. It's 50% more than we agreed. The contract says 100 guests maximum. Some people might not show up. Then you'll have empty chairs. The security officers arrived at 3 p.m. and immediately proved their worth. They turned away a DJ who was trying to set up massive speakers that would have violated noise ordinances. Apparently, Michael had hired him last minute to replace the acoustic guitarist originally planned. The DJ left, furious, and Michael had to scramble to get the guitarist back. Guests started arriving at 4 p.m. for the 5 p.m. ceremony. The security officers checked every name against the list. By 4:45, they turned away 12 people who weren't on the approved list. Each rejection caused a mini-drama, with phone calls and complaints, but the officers stood firm. The ceremony itself was beautiful, I'll admit. The weather was perfect, the garden looked stunning, and Jennifer did look radiant. For about an hour, I thought maybe things would be okay. Then the reception started. Despite the contracted acoustic guitarist, Michael had somehow arranged for a friend to bring professional sound equipment. When they started setting up, I immediately intervened. Absolutely not. It's just for the speeches. Michael protested. Use the guitarist's microphone or nothing. My father stepped in. James, you're making a scene at your brother's wedding. No, Michael is by violating our contract. The sound equipment was removed, but the tension was palpable. Guests were whispering, taking sides. I heard one aunt say, James is being ridiculous, while a cousin responded, it's his house though. At 8 p.m., something interesting happened. Jennifer's grandmother, the 82-year-old from Ohio, approached me. You must be James, she said warmly. This is such a beautiful home. Thank you for sharing it today. You're welcome, Mrs. Thompson. She leaned in conspiratorially. Jennifer told me you're letting them move in after the honeymoon. That's very generous. My blood ran cold. I'm sorry, what? Oh, she's been telling everyone how you've offered them the guest house while they save for their own place. Such a generous brother-in-law you'll be. I excused myself and found David. We have a problem. David and Sarah mingled with guests, casually asking about the newlyweds' plans. The stories varied. Some had heard they were moving into my guest house, others heard the basement apartment, and one cousin was told they'd be taking over the master bedroom while I moved to a smaller room. At 9:30 p.m., I gave the 30-minute warning for the reception to end. Michael laughed it off. The party's just getting started. And it's ending at 10, as agreed. James, don't be that guy. I'm being exactly the guy who owns this house and set clear boundaries. At 9:55 p.m., I cut the power to the outdoor lighting and sound system. Guests got the message and started leaving, though not without grumbling. Michael was furious but couldn't make a scene with guests still present. As the last guests left at 10:20 p.m., Jennifer approached me with tears in her eyes. But these weren't sad tears, they were angry ones. You ruined our wedding, she hissed. I hosted your wedding for free. You're welcome. We'll remember this, Michael added, his threat clear. So will I responded. The cleanup crew worked until midnight. I supervised every minute, noting damages, minimal, thankfully, and ensuring nothing was left behind. David and Sarah stayed until everything was done, providing moral support and witnesses. This morning, I woke up to 47 text messages. The family group chat had exploded overnight with pictures from the wedding and commentary about my behavior. Some supported me, others called me controlling and selfish. But the real bombshell came from my cousin Catherine, who'd overheard Michael and Jennifer at the hotel bar after the reception. They were apparently telling Jennifer's family that they planned to show up at my house after their honeymoon with their belongings, believing that family pressure and the pregnancy would force me to take them in. I've already scheduled a consultation with my lawyer for Monday to discuss a restraining order if necessary. I've also informed my security company that I'll need regular patrols for the next month. The wedding is over, but I have a feeling this battle is just beginning. Final update, posted 2 months later. I've debated whether to write this update for weeks. Part of me wanted to leave this chapter of my life behind, but I know many of you invested in this story deserve closure. Plus, Writing it out helps me process everything that's happened. Michael and Jennifer returned from their 2-week honeymoon in Cancun, paid for by Jennifer's parents, exactly as my cousin Catherine had overheard them planning. On a Sunday afternoon, they showed up at my house with a U-Haul truck and Jennifer's parents. I was prepared. The security cameras alerted me when they pulled into the driveway. I met them at the door with David and my lawyer, Thomas, whom I'd retained after the wedding. "What's this?" Michael asked, gesturing at the truck as if I didn't have eyes. "Looks like you're confused about your living arrangements," I replied calmly. Jennifer's mother, Linda, stepped forward. "James, surely you're not going to turn away a pregnant woman and your own brother?" "I'm not turning anyone away because no one lives here but me." Thomas handed Michael a formal notice of trespass. "Mr. Wilson, this letter formally notifies you that you are not welcome on this property except by explicit invitation. Any attempt to establish residency will be met with legal action." Jennifer started crying, her go-to manipulation tactic. "Where are we supposed to go? We gave up our apartment." "That sounds like poor planning on your part." My parents arrived within minutes, clearly having been called as backup. The scene in my driveway was surreal: a moving truck, 6 adults arguing, and my lawyer calmly taking notes. "James, this is insane," my mother shouted. "They're family." "Family doesn't ambush people with moving trucks." My father tried the authoritative approach. "Son, we need to discuss this inside, privately." "No, we don't. This is my property, and I've made my position clear for months." The standoff lasted 2 hours. Neighbors came out to watch. The police were eventually called, by me, to enforce the trespass notice. The officers were professional and made it clear that Michael and Jennifer had no legal right to be on my property. The U-Haul left, followed by a parade of disappointed family members. But that was just the beginning. For the next 3 weeks, I endured a coordinated harassment campaign. My mother called crying daily. My father sent lengthy emails about family duty. Aunts and uncles reached out with their opinions. Jennifer's family started a social media campaign painting me as a heartless monster who made a pregnant woman homeless. The breaking point came when Michael posted on Facebook that I had ruined their lives and caused Jennifer to have pregnancy complications from stress. The post went viral in our community. I started receiving hate messages from strangers. Someone left a dead rat on my doorstep with a note calling me heartless scum. That's when I decided to go nuclear with the truth. I compiled every text message, email, and contract from the past 6 months. I documented every lie, every manipulation, every broken agreement. I wrote a comprehensive timeline of events and posted it on Facebook, tagging everyone who'd attacked me. But the crown jewel was the security footage from the wedding. Remember those cameras I installed? They caught Jennifer telling her bridesmaids that she was never actually pregnant. She was planning to get pregnant quickly once we're in the house, to make it harder for me to evict them. She literally said, "Once we're in, he can't throw out a baby." The backlash was immediate and severe. Jennifer's family went into damage control mode. My parents were mortified, not at Michael and Jennifer, but at me for airing family business. But something interesting happened. The truth started coming out from others too. My cousin Catherine revealed that Michael had borrowed $5,000 from her for the wedding and never paid it back. My uncle disclosed that Michael owed him $12,000 from a business investment 3 years ago. Jennifer's cousin admitted that Jennifer had done something similar to her college roommate, moved in temporarily, and refused to leave for 8 months until legally evicted. The family began to fracture along lines of truth versus enabling. My parents doubled down on supporting Michael, even offering to let them move into their house. That lasted exactly 1 week before Michael and Jennifer's entitlement drove even my parents to their limit. They'd apparently tried to renovate my parents' master bedroom without permission and had been caught selling my mother's jewelry online to fund their new life. Michael and Jennifer were kicked out and ended up moving in with Jennifer's parents in Arizona. The last I heard through the family grapevine, they were already causing problems there too. As for my family relationships, my parents and I are in limited contact. We can manage polite conversation at family events, but the closeness we once had is gone. They still believe I should have helped more, and I've accepted they'll never see Michael's behavior as problematic. Michael and I haven't spoken since the U-Haul incident. He's blocked on all my social media and my phone. I heard he tells people I'm dead to him. The feeling is mutual. Extended family is split. Some aunts and uncles have apologized for their initial reactions. Others still think I'm selfish. I've made peace with both responses. The unexpected positive outcome? I've grown closer to cousins and family members who've also been victims of Michael's schemes over the years. We formed our own support group of sorts, the Michael Survivors Club, as we jokingly call it. My therapist has been invaluable through this process. She helped me understand that I'd been programmed from birth to be the responsible one, the fixer, the one who sacrifices for the family. Breaking that programming was painful but necessary. I've also learned the power of boundaries and documentation. Every interaction that felt off, I documented. Every red flag, I noted. When the time came to defend myself, I had receipts for everything. The house is peaceful now. I've installed a better security system and have made it clear to the entire family that surprise visits are not welcome. I'm dating someone new, Elizabeth, who's been incredibly supportive and understanding about my family drama. She actually thanked me for having such strong boundaries, saying it showed her I wouldn't let people walk all over us if we became serious. Looking back, I ask myself if I could have handled things differently. Maybe. But I don't regret standing my ground. My home is my sanctuary, my safe space, my achievement. I worked hard for it, and no one, not even family, has the right to take that from me. For those of you in similar situations, here's my advice. 1. Trust your gut when something feels off. 2. Document everything. 3. Get legal help early, not as a last resort. 4. Don't set yourself on fire to keep others warm. 5. Remember that no is a complete sentence. 6. Family isn't a free pass for abuse or manipulation. 7. It's okay to cut toxic people out, even if they're related to you. Thank you to everyone who supported me through this journey. Your comments and messages kept me sane when I felt like I was going crazy. I'm in a much better place now, and while I've lost some family relationships, I've gained self-respect and peace of mind. And no, before anyone asks, Michael and Jennifer are not actually pregnant. That was confirmed by Jennifer's sister, who reached out to apologize for her family's behavior. Apparently, it was all a manipulation tactic that Jennifer has used before. My house remains my house. My life remains my life. And for the first time in 28 years, I'm living both on my own terms.